Welcome to Jambo Safari Media. This is Jambo News with me, Tracy Wambui. We have a lot in store for you, and onto our top stories making headlines. Trump and Zelensky clash over Ukraine aid as world leaders rally behind Kyiv's fight against Russian invasion, exposing deep divisions within the international community. Devastating avalanche engulfs Himalayan village in India, leaving homes buried and rescue teams facing treacherous conditions as fear of casualties mounts. Gaza ceasefire holds, bringing a fragile respite after 11 days of deadly conflict as international pressure mounts for a lasting solution to the Israeli-Palestinian crisis. Namibia bids farewell to founding President Sam Nujoma, mourning the loss of a visionary leader who guided the nation to independence and championed Pan-African unity. Pope Francis recovering well after abdominal surgery, Vatican announces as concerns of his health eases and calls for prayers to continue. European leaders have come out in a strong support of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky after a dramatic and tense exchange between him and President Donald Trump at the White House. The leaders of Germany, France, Spain, Poland, and Netherlands all took to social media, reaffirming their commitment to Ukraine in the wake of confrontation. In a show of gratitude, President Zelensky personally responded to each leader, thanking them for their continued support. The diplomatic fallout stems from a tense meeting in the Oval Office on Friday, where Trump reportedly told Zelensky to, quote, "make a deal with Russia or we are out." Sources say the former president expressed frustration, accusing Zelensky of not showing enough gratitude for US. He went as far as to warn that Ukraine was, quote, "gambling with the World War III." Following this confrontation, a wave of support poured in from global leaders. In addition to European leaders, the Prime Minister of Canada, Australia, and New Zealand also voiced their backing for Ukraine.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that. Remember this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. If you didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days. I heard it from Putin. In 3 days. This is something
maybe
new.
Less.
In 2 weeks. Of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. You're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing.
As tensions continue to rise, one thing is clear: Ukraine still has strong allies on the world stage. The question now is how this latest confrontation will shape the ongoing conflict and international efforts to support Ukraine. Stay with us as we follow this developing story. For now, let's turn to a different story. Shifting gears to a tragic story unfolding in northern India, where an avalanche has claimed lives and left several others missing in Himalayan state of Uttarakhand. At least 4 people have been confirmed dead and several others remain unaccounted for after a massive avalanche struck the village of Mana, located near India's border with Tibet. The avalanche, which hit on Friday, swept away a group of road construction workers, triggering a large-scale rescue operation. Rescue teams, including the Indian Army and the Indo-Tibetan Border Police, have been working tirelessly in freezing conditions to locate the survivors. Reports indicate that around 50 people were buried under the snow and debris. While many were successfully rescued, 4 of them succumbed to their injuries. Helicopters have been deployed to assist in the search for at least 5 people who are still missing. Uttarakhand's Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami has assured the public that rescue teams are continually engaged in relief efforts. He emphasized that the government is committed to providing all possible assistance to those affected by this disaster. Local resident and former village council member Gaurav Kunwar reported that the area where the avalanche struck is a migratory zone with no permanent settlements. He explained that only laborers working on the border road projects stayed there during the harsh winter months along with some military personnel. With extreme weather adding to the challenges, rescue teams are in race against time to find the missing and provide aid to survivors. Our thoughts are with those affected by this tragedy. Our condolences for those who have lost their loved ones. We will continue to monitor these developing stories and bring you the latest updates. On to a different story. The Gaza ceasefire is at a critical point with the first 6 weeks phase ending today. While hostages have been released on both sides, negotiations on the next phase, including the release of all the remaining hostages and the withdrawal of Israeli troops, has barely begun. Talks in Cairo ended Friday with Israel's delegation returning home, suggesting negotiations will continue remotely. Israel appears to be seeking a 6-week extension of the current phase to secure more hostages and release more Palestinian prisoners, but without withdrawing troops. And there you have it, a diplomatic showdown that has shaken the world. It's a reminder that the international stage is a complex and often unpredictable arena. While we can only speculate on the potential outcomes, one thing is clear: the stakes are high and the world is watching. On to a sad story. Namibia has bid farewell to its founding father Sam Nujoma, who died last month at the age of 95. Nujoma, a key figure in the fight against apartheid South Africa, is being remembered as a giant among leaders, and the last of the generation of African figures who led anti-colonial movements. Thousands of Namibians gathered on Friday and Saturday to pay their respects to Nujoma, who was laid to rest in mausoleum at Heroes Acre at the country's national cemetery. Nujoma's legacy is one of liberation and resilience. He led the Southwest African People Organization in the fight against South Africa rule, eventually achieving Namibia's independence in 1990. He served as Namibia's first president from 1990 to 2005. President Nangolo Mbumba described his passing as the end of an era for Africa.
Although our hearts remain laden with grief, we take solace that President Sam Nujoma, who will now rest among his fellow illustrious heroes and heroines, has completed his mission with distinction, fulfilling his destiny and leaving behind the most precious gift of freedom and independence for the people of Namibia. We salute you, Comrade Muama, a diamond of a Tunda village, for a life well lived in the service of the people of the Republic of Namibia, the region of SADC, and the African continent. Farewell, Father of the Namibian nation. Farewell, founding President of the Republic of Namibia. Farewell, leader of the Namibian Revolution. May your brave soul rest in eternal peace.
The Namibian people are mourning the loss of their founding father, but also celebrating his extraordinary life and contributions to the country's freedom. Our deepest condolences to the family and all Namibians during this trying and tough time. Shifting gears to Rome, Pope Francis, who has been battling pneumonia for 2 weeks, experienced a significant health scare on Friday, leading to a brief hospitalization. The 88-year-old pontiff, known for his tireless work and global travel, suffered a sudden and isolated breathing crisis, characterized by coughing, vomiting, and rapid decline in his respiratory condition. The Vatican has released a statement indicating that the Pope received immediate medical attention, including non-invasive mechanical ventilation to support his breathing. Thankfully, the Pope's condition stabilized and he has been described as being a good spirit and alert. The Vatican is cautiously optimistic about the Pope's recovery, stating that he had a peaceful night and is resting. However, doctors are monitoring his condition closely and will need 24 to 48 hours to determine the extent of any potential damage or setback to his overall health. Quick recovery to the Pope will remain. That brings us to the end of our news today. Thank you for tuning in to Jambo News. Till next time, remember to subscribe to Jambo Safari Media channel and hit the notification button for more news and updates on other stories.